welcome back, everybody, for another CBSI Hot 10 show. Make sure you go over to comicbookinvest.com and check out the list where I might put some extra details we don't cover on the show tonight. Also, check out all the content we have here on the channel. Make sure you like, you subscribe, you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. Check out my new channel, Toy Informer, if you like toys. And if you haven't given Whatnot a try, now's your chance. First-time users, you get a free $15 to spend on whatever you want with whomever you want. No strings attached. You'll help out the channel, and you get yourself something nice. But if you want to see this week's list, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and we will be right back.
Notable sales.
And our first book coming in.
Not an unusual name for the notable sales. L.B. Cole, The Horrors, number 12, a 9.0. The only 9.0, and I'm pretty sure the highest grade out there, sold at an all-time high for a little over $10K. People love L.B. Cole, and I like the war covers as well. It's an area of golden age that
and that's what caught my eye.
Sometimes.
I didn't even know this was L.B. Cole when I picked it. I just picked, hey, it's a war cover, big price, seems interesting.
It's a major golden age trope, but it always seems to get overlooked by the sci-fi stuff or the horror stuff, or
Yeah, that was when horror started to get its big come up, it actually took a little bit of piece off of war, but you thought war was going to rebound. And then unfortunately, not unfortunately, but then in the space you got to see this like big come up because of romance, which was very interesting for the time. Because you'd figure like going stuff from like horror kind of mystery shooting through people's eyes and everything, that some of these great war covers would have made their way to the top of the list. I'm not saying that they took a big hit. They didn't, but they didn't get the comeuppance as much as some of the other ones. But there's great artists on a lot of these covers, so make sure you're double checking them.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Big golden age names are on there.
All right. Well, our next notable is more on the modern side of things, and it's an art germ. We've got Street Fighter versus Darkstalkers number 1, the 1 in 20 incentive. Man, this thing was tough to find even when it came out, but some of these prices this week, I don't know why. Both of these sales, and that's why it's notable sales, but these two to go together. A 9.8 sold for $1,100 and a 9.6 sold for $1,000 on the same day.
It's wild. Yeah.
I'm becoming a very big udon fan. I love going on their site and finding some stuff that they have.
No, I like it too.
We got a shop down the street that does the best udon you've ever had in your life, man. I love them. Love it. Those fat noodles are great, and just the broth, and the sweetness and the saltiness.
I like the video game stuff, so this has always been something I've enjoyed. But yeah, I just wish I would have picked up this book when it came out. But alas, what are you going to do? But with that said, those were our notables for the week. So let's just get right into our actual list, I guess.
So I said sweet too. So you missed the sweet part, buddy.
No, I just decided to blatantly overlook it.
What are you guys mumbling about?
Number 10.
Kicking off the list.
Oh, here we go. Number 10. X-Men 97, number 2. Now, this is from that run that came out a while back. However, we're seeing a little bit of a come up. It's again, probably because there was an announcement of, which is weird because we all knew it was coming, right? But I think that's going to be a lot of this week. I think this is the book that shows us how the week is going to turn out in the top 10 list. 20 plus sales, averaging $10 to $15, high of 18. This is the A cover, just the regular cover. Cool cover, cool book. X-Men are great. Anytime this is going to be an awesome case study on X-Men because it's all about the animated series. How many times are the books going to keep popping, right? We're going to see that again. We know what's coming up. If you look at it, probably a great time to look at maybe a couple X-Men keys that popped up on the top 10 about, I don't know, 2-3 months ago while the TV show was still out, because they're starting to take a little bit of a dip. But if we see these books start taking a hike again, let's go take a look over at those books and see what the prices is. Either way, it's number 2. You got a great little saber tooth on the front cover. Wolverine there. Everybody loves that battle. Averaging $10 to $15.
Yeah. Plus, we might get to see that in the movie in a couple weeks.
We're going to, but it's going to be the old school one too.
I know it's the old school ones, but still.
It's good to see X-Men. X-Men's great.
Yeah, new showrunner. So people getting excited again.
Any news though, like that's what I'm kind of saying. Like any news that we get to hear out of it, it's going to be interesting seeing. Like that's kind of the case study for X-Men. It's
The tough part though with animated those, we're not going to get like casting news or set photos. It's all or nothing. Like
yeah, fair.
Voice act this next new person is not.
Yeah.
You might get a character leak here and there.
That's true. We might get a character.
Well, we
leak.
kind of know a couple. That's what I'm saying. We kind of know a couple that are already going to happen. So I wonder if those books, all of a sudden, as news trickles out, you know what I mean?
We'll see. Like you said, it'll be interesting. It'll definitely
Very
be interesting to see how this plays out. But with that, let's get on to our next one.
Number 9.
Speaking of animated,
Yeah, so the announcement of the animated Watchmen series, we got an oldie but a goodie. Watchmen number 1, hitting the list again at number 9. We have an average of $35 to $50. Sets going for 100 for 125. CGC 9.6 at $200. In my opinion, one of Alan Moore's greatest, if not greatest, works.
Probably his greatest work. Yeah,
it's fantastic. I mean, if you haven't read this yet, go get it. Go get it.
I mean, this and V for Vendetta are like neck and neck for me, but I think Watchmen nudges it just a little bit.
Yeah, and a 9.8 hasn't sold in like forever in this book, and that's like 700 plus at least. So just put it in context with the raw sales, and most of the raw sales are only like mid grades, you know, some fines and very fines, but it is what it is. All right, we'll just move on to our next book, and what we got?
Riveting stuff, boys.
There we go.
Bring that pep.
I was watching.
There's a joke that was supposed to be set up there, but it didn't come through for some reason, even though we did it in the pre-show. All right.
Oh boy. With that said, let's just go on.
Number 8.
All right, number 8.
Hey, number 8. We talked about this book on TAC a couple weeks ago, or last week. I guess I could spoil it now. Wolverine, for some reason, is the Nova, which I don't know if that's whatever. Not exactly the ending I wanted, but it was under ratio last week. It's Annihilation 2099, the last Nova. Now it's averaging $30, high of 43, and starting to sell. The book was written pretty well. If you like Wolverine with everything, you're gonna like this, and maybe that's why. Maybe part of it was
put him in space.
Not a lot of Nova fans, but there's a lot of Wolverine fans.
Yeah, once they heard it was Wolverine, everybody wanted it then.
With last week, Wolverine last week in Marvel was like in every dang book. So you had to buy what you could. You had to wait for your paycheck to clear or your whatever, and then now you can buy more Wolverine stuff. Not a bad written book. Once again, just slightly disappointed that it turned out to be Wolverine. Spoiler alert.
And I like the homage. So, you know, that's what they're doing on all the 1 in 25 for this series.
Yeah.
It's weekly. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. The second one, maybe not as good, but
spoiler alert.
We'll see.
Well, the first one ended pretty bad, and the second one picked up where the first one ended.
I didn't hate the ending of the first one.
I just thought it was awkwardly weird. Like the whole ending was kind of. I guess because the beginning part was pretty good. But whatever. Hey,
you didn't guess that's what it was the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, you could, but like Wolverine fans, there you go. They've turned into like the new Todd McFarlane fans. You can just sell them crap all the time, and they'll eat it up and pay too much for it. So
got to get that number 2 to get that first appearance of Star-Lord $20.99.
Oh yeah, new Star-Lord.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Well, let's see what we got at lucky number 7.
Number 7.
Another familiar face coming back on the list.
Yes, Spider-Man Noir. We still have those. I think it was confirmed, not rumors anymore, of a Spider-Man Noir TV show coming. So yeah, Spider-Man Noir is back on the list with raw highs hitting $325, CGC 9.8, sold for $525. If you love him in the Across the Spider-Verse series or any of the other adaptations of Spider-Man Noir, make sure to check out this book along with the series whenever it debuts.
Always amuses me how the other cover gets no love.
That is true.
With this series.
It's just this one. It's just this one people seem to want. But I still think it's weird. He's not going to be Peter Parker. Like, they think people are going to be confused if they call him Peter Parker. Like, that's a stupid rationale to change the character's name, in my opinion. But it is what it is. They cast, Robbie Robertson, I guess, this week with A Man from the New Girl. And I think Brendan Gleeson is going to be a villain or something too. So they're building out a cast. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this book over
Yeah,
time.
hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
People like this cover though. I mean,
It's a cool
Joe's
concept too.
It is a
I
cool
just
cover.
don't
It's
like
a cool cover.
Peter Parker.
Right. Yeah.
He's gonna be Park
whatever.
Peter.
Yeah.
Parker Peter.
Parker Peterson. With that, let's get on to our next.
Number 6.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Still there. Like Marco said, we're seeing that movement, and most of it's volume. You got a showrunner for season 3 now, so you actually have a confirmation that they are moving forward with this. So people are just gravitating
Until
back.
they get mysteriously fired too.
We'll find out about that sometime in the next 5 years as to why I was fired. But yeah, you got 40 plus sales. So I mean, the average is it's been around the same for the most part, but that volume's picking up. And you had a 9.8 hit 120. So it's a recent series. These are still findable books out there. So go
I
digging.
think confirmation of a season 3 gives it more feeling of longevity because we don't even have season 2 yet. Now they're already talking about season 3. So this feels like it'll be something that'll be around
Yeah.
for a while. So I think it's giving people more comfort.
2030.
Like, I want to make sure I get in on this before I miss out. Because even that 9.8, it's up like $20.
Yeah.
Only like $100 not that long ago.
That's a good point, Joe, too. Some of these, especially the number 2 that we saw at the 10 spot, like it's kind of a book now because it's been long enough that you can go out there and people forgot about it. Maybe they're like, what was this book again? And they looked it up last week and it wasn't worth much. So they throw it into the discount bins. I know
sometimes 3 might be on the shelf or some of those second prints, and you look behind there and you're like, oh, look, there's the first.
There's
print
2,
that's
yeah.
in there.
So it came out of, it's around that time where people's poll lists are getting put back on shelves too. So the poll list is there, you go throw it back on there. I mean, perfect look. You get a 2 or 1 just luckily out there. So make sure you boys are out there and girls are out there digging because it's a digging type of time.
Yeah, and like I said, especially since it's a newer series and they were doing all those second prints.
Yeah.
And
we just had a third for this one. Too.
Yeah, and third prints. That means they're still out there, not in boxes all the time. So
yeah, absolutely.
Might score a little bit of gold.
Nice little score too. Yeah,
not too bad.
Turn 5 and 15.
Number 5.
It's back yet again. Back on the list. We just can't seem to shake Detective Comics 1086. And no, Bruce did not make me put this one on the list.
Sure. Sure.
Because it's still selling. People keep buying this. Last week it was like $45 average. Now it's averaging $55 with the new high being $92. This is inching ever closer to hitting 3 digits. And it's a 1 in 25 that, again, just like the last couple of books, it's been coming on slowly, like the Annihilation. When this came out, the week it came out, this was ratio or less. And then
it's a little different for the DC books.
Growing.
This is a little different for the DC books. It seems by this time they would have hit the 3 and then kind of start to make a slow decline. I think if you were looking at earlier sales in this week, this book looked like it might just have petered out. No pun intended, Peter. But it actually, as you were saying, kind of just kept chugging along there. Took a little pause and then start to make its way back up. So hopefully it won't be on the list next week because I'm sick of seeing the book. But
just like it might be like the Harley book, same artist. It's it stuck around and it was a little slow climb.
Yeah. Well, just like last week, that Lobo action from last week, also it's still going, but it's kind of slowing. Like it's
slowing down. Yeah.
It's kind of slowing down a bit.
What were you gonna say, Matt?
I said I got laughed at for picking this as the best cover of the week on SNS a few weeks ago. So
well, I mean, rightfully so. Rightfully so.
No way. This cover's awesome.
At least it's not a virgin variant of the trade dress version like Marvel does. So that's something.
Yeah,
agreed. That's a slow week, though. I mean, there wasn't much for you to compete against, I guess. So
no. But speaking of second prints,
Number 4.
This one's back, sort of.
Back again.
Speaking of Marvel 1 in 25 virgin copies, we got Doom number 1. It is a great Sanford Green cover. People love Doom. And when the first book did as well as it did for pretty much most, if not all of the covers eventually kind of caught a little bit of heat, you're going to catch heat on a second print ratio. So average is $60, high 80. not heavy volume, but
No.
it's a great Doom cover, and I love Sanford Green, so I enjoy the art. But
Surprised it took them this long to make the second print on this one.
yeah, well, I mean, this was a one shot too, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they got these things locked and loaded. Like,
yeah.
Not my favorite.
I don't think they expected the heat that they got off of this book
Fair.
with as many of the covers as they did.
Not my favorite cover in this one. I mean, just to give Marvel the same love that I just gave DC a minute ago. Not my favorite, but I understand why people are buying both of these books, and it's not for the story inside either on either book. But yeah, I mean,
I find the
lazy.
ground off cover very decisive or very divisive.
Yeah, I
really
mean,
like it or
okay,
don't like it.
fair enough.
until you pointed out the Scooby-Doo eyes, I was fine with it. And then I can't unsee it after that. Thanks,
Yeah.
Joe. Ruined
Yeah, I
covers
do.
for everyone.
I do what I can.
Well, as they say, the customer is always right in the matter of taste.
Yes.
I suppose. But let's get into our top 3.
Number 3.
Another one bouncing back and forth on the list.
Yeah, we got Grommets number 1 and 10. Brett Parson. Still an awesome cover. Gotta love that homage to the classic 7-Eleven. Averaging $93, high of 115. This book is still surprisingly, even with issue 2 out, this book is still surprisingly climbing the charts and selling pretty well.
Once again, I don't think it's because of the story on the inside on this book either, like the last two. What it is yesterday was 7-Eleven free Slurpee Day. So because of that, it got it on everybody's mind.
Yeah.
So everybody started buying this book again.
Free Slurpee Day.
Free Slurpee Day.
The
They couldn't get their
110s have been doing pretty
Slurpees, so they
good.
went out and spent the extra money on the Grommets number 1 with the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
But the 110s have been doing pretty good at this. There's not a ton of covers on
Okay,
these
real
books.
quickly, for the people that are going to leave comments about it, that's called a joke. I was joking about that. I didn't just joke.
That said, there are 2 other covers that are higher ratio for this number 1, and there's not many of them. They're listed for very high prices. So if they were to sell, like the 1 in 20 is that video game, the arcade box cover, and then you got the 1 in 25, which is a pretty cool.
And at what point though does somebody jump at that because this keeps going up higher? You know what I mean?
That's at some point somebody might, but who knows? We had the second print come out too recently, so this series is good, by the way. I mean, for people who actually read comics, this is actually a good read. So
Big thumbs up to recommend.
get yourself the regular, get yourself the second print. Not saying go out and buy this to read this, because $100 is still a lot of money.
a little
So
bit too much
go
to
buy a
read.
cheaper copy to read. But this is still a cool cover.
Yep.
With that said, let's get on to our final 2 books.
Number 2.
It was Agatha all along.
Oh my god. I'm doing this book because I don't really like the character Agatha. Like, I don't like the lady that's portraying it. I don't like how it's going. But I watched the trailer 3 times and thought, man, if they just would replace the main lady who's playing Agatha, this might not be a bad show.
Stay golden, pony boy.
What's that?
Stay golden, pony boy.
I watched that trailer and thought, man, if only this was the horror aspect that we would have got out of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The
Yeah,
mo-
see,
the
that would've been
horror
really
movie we were supposed to get.
Yeah. Either way,
You didn't like the music fight?
No.
you got a trailer.
What about
So
the Pizza Man?
this puts books back on there. Fantastic Four, no matter how many characters show up in it and get into trailers, no matter how many everybody tells you how excited they are about any Fantastic Four character makes an appearance. For some reason, still seems to be on the undervalued area. This book is averaging 110 now. VF Raws are 153. We're not going 9.8 on this, obviously.
No, most of these are lower grade.
But we got some great Kirby art here. Very underrated stuff. Inhumans, although people aren't happy about it, they're on the cover, so there you go. And so is what was that thing we watched the other
I'll
day?
take a
where-
Medusa cover any day.
Yeah, for sure.
Thing.
Johnny Storm, Human Torch, and the Fantastic Four is there. The Human Torch, Johnny Storm, Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Girl, and Thing. Shout out Tack. If you do.
I want to meet Mr. Fantastic's tailor. He has a regular suit that stretches too.
No, it isn't. I thought it was a turtleneck.
For when he's dressing up.
Yeah, that's
Stretchy
nice.
suit.
I thought he was wearing an Archer black turtleneck. And that's why it was so stretchy. But no, you're right. It's a suit.
Well, good to see her book selling, though. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we're only like
shows for.
September, so not too far out from this
Yeah.
series. We'll see. We'll see if people start watching it or if it becomes another Marvel's dead. Marvel TV, Marvel.
That's going to happen.
MCU.
That's going to be happen. That's going to happen. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already.
Oh, it is.
We'll give it time. We'll also have to see what Deadpool does because Deadpool will bring everybody back on board. Oh, it's still alive. It's still alive.
No, it won't. No, it won't. That's not how
All
that
right.
works.
We'll see. We'll see, but we've got one left.
And our number 1.
Well, since the trailer dropped this morning, we got a quick little glimpse of a big red guy, and now all of a sudden, more copies of this have sold today than all of last week already, and Lord knows where it's going to go from there. But Hulk number 1, not even really the first appearance of the Red Hulk inside the book, but he's on the cover. Just kind of teased inside. Raws are up over $85, where they were like $60, I think, last week again. This thing has been seesawing up and down on that roller coaster spec ride forever. 9/8 again up to $350 and 30 plus sales, and most of them, like I said, were done today.
Hey, Matt, I think we learned something on TAC this week. What's the name on the book?
Hulk.
Who's the guy on the cover?
Red Hulk.
So it's got to be its first appearance, right? Like that's all the
it's
file.
not in the interior.
Yeah,
It
doesn't say red. It doesn't say Red Hulk on the cover.
Oh, it doesn't say red. It just implies it. It just implies it. Yeah.
I'm just saying, for anybody who actually
it's in red text, but
yeah, it's red
This
text.
is actually very interesting though, because to me, this tells me that if Marvel's willing to drop this trailer now, their SDCC stuff is going to be next level.
Well, hopefully.
All the stuff coming out of SDCC is going to be insane.
That's good. I didn't think about that. You
because why drop this 2 weeks before San Diego?
Do we know how big their table is? Because wasn't it last year where they kind of pulled most of their stuff out of San Diego? They didn't do a big thing at San Diego.
They're coming. I've been getting a bunch of press stuff. They're coming back. So and they're gonna
guess who's back.
Last year they pulled everybody because they were on the writer's strike. The year before they were there. But they still have all of Phase 6 to announce. That was still still left blank. So maybe we'll get.
They were doing their own thing too. Remember they had
doing their own thing.
23, and then we're like maybe they're just gonna do all their stuff on their own con and not drop it at San Diego or New York. But
maybe we'll get our first casting of Dr. Doom, or we'll get our confirmation of Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider. Who knows?
Maybe.
But that just gives me that itch that they're willing to drop this trailer 2 weeks before their big showcase at San Diego.
See, that's what I'm saying. Maybe they're doing it because they're. Yeah, I mean, you can see it two ways.
Well, what about this though? That San Diego is also the same weekend that Deadpool comes out, and if Deadpool becomes all the news because of all pre-sales, it's going to set new opening weekend record for the year, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe they didn't want it to get lost in the sauce by releasing that trailer the same weekend that everyone can be talking about.
I'll say this: did you buy San Diego tickets this week or this month or this year, Matt?
Yeah, I've got San Diego.
Okay, so I hope they do something because you're going to go. So
absolutely,
I hope so. But yeah, I think
man on the beat.
Yeah, I think it gets a little bit worse. I think it's a little bit shaky because if they're giving us all this, they dropped 2 trailers this week, 2 weeks out. I wonder if it is kind of like Pete was saying. We'll see though. I mean,
I think it could go either one way or the other. It's all or nothing.
It could be both though. You could still get one great thing at San Diego and kind of keep their own type of con stuff up. But yeah, this is kind of I was going to allude to this book, but I didn't want to give it away in the Agatha thing. It's kind of interesting to see both these books come out. I mean, I know it's not the first appearance, but it does look like news is driving once again show stuff as far as Marvel goes. I wish DC it would work as well as this, but this is hopefully with the gun era.
It was. Remember when everyone was buying every damn reporter in the Daily Planet?
Yeah, but that was because there was nothing. But that was when there was. Hold on, that was when there was nothing going on at all anyplace else. There really wasn't anything going on there. I just hope that I hope that DC can get to this level of Marvel. You got 3 Marvel announcements or 4. You had literally just a showrunner announcement.
DC's a little tougher though because a lot of those characters are either Golden Age or pricey Silver Age
but hey, bro, they're selling $85 Raws here, $350 high for 9/8. And if you look at the Agatha #2 book, That's VFs that was going over there for over 100 and change dollars. You can find Silver Age books for DC keys that are doing the exact same thing because there's so many of them. So like, I hear that comparison a lot, Joe, but I don't like the same.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, we're not
for
talking
dollars.
for Superman. We're not talking.
Yeah. Of course we're not. But Red Hulk isn't first Hulk either, bro.
No.
Come on.
Exactly.
It's not like Agatha's A-list character of the Silver Age in a Fantastic Four. Like if you asked a normie off the street if they thought where Agatha's first book is with any knowledge of Marvel, I highly doubt they're going to say, oh yeah, in Fantastic Four, because that makes sense. It does with the Scarlet Witch. Like, I mean, actually it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, it doesn't make sense. So I guess that's my point. Either way, like Agatha's the DC of a book, and it's number 2 and doing pretty well. That's probably the comparison for DC that we hope to see one day, and hopefully with the Gun universe we get that. I mean, I'll be honest, I really do hope for it. So
Yeah, I kind of wonder if we're going to see a trailer for Superman at San Diego.
yeah,
We're going to get
Maybe
a
a teaser.
little something for Superman. Yeah.
and then we get to compare. I think that's a good
Wouldn't
point.
put on
I think
boots.
San Diego is going to be the litmus test, right? Like, because if Marvel drops some stuff and DC drops some stuff, then we got to see who has DC closed that gap that has been there forever. I mean, that it's still. I'm just saying I'm disappointed with how large the gap still is. As much crap as I give DC, I would hope by this time that they would kind of close the
Hey,
gap.
they'll have opportunities. I mean, we got Peacemaker 2. People enjoyed Peacemaker. We're getting that season out. People
Yeah.
do like James Gunn. I'm worried with some of the set photos for Superman, but I will give him the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see.
But the Marvel-
we only got
the
a year
Marvel
out.
stuff's on-
Next year we'll know.
Yeah. Marvel stuff's on a little. It's produced a little bit further than the DC stuff as well. So you
Yeah,
have a little
yeah,
more
fair.
polished things to be able to throw out there for Marvel.
Fair enough.
But with that
Marvel
all
also
said,
still isn't that high king that it used to be. Like they've put out some
Yeah.
stinkers lately. So
But the books still are moving for. I mean,
yeah.
we just once again number 1, number 2, Agatha's. I don't even care about the Red Hulk not being in there, not being in first appearance. That Agatha book selling for whatever.
well, don't forget indies too. I mean, look how many people were buying it on proof the last couple of weeks because of
Yeah,
announcements.
but that cycle of independent. This is probably a conversation for not.
I know it's a we can go all
The
down
selling
whole rabbit
cycle
hole
for
here is kinda
independence
wrap up.
that's been as old as speculation on that cycle for independence has always been there since the speculation.
Yeah,
started.
yeah.
Option pop drop.
There you go.
But with that said, don't drop, stick around, and stay for the qualified, which is starting as soon as we're done. Here, what are you boys covering today?
We're just getting
Cool
cool mini
things.
spotlights. Patriotica. We're going to look at a little mini spotlight on Glenn Orbick. Great, fantastic artist. And we're going to look at some of the current Zatanna covers that are coming out between Superman and Zatanna Bringing Down the House. So
Not the homages. I hope.
no, we're looking at some of the incentive covers.
Oh, the
and,
real stuff. Okay.
Yeah, the stuff that's coming out.
Well, that is 3 cool things then.
Yeah.
All right, so don't go anywhere. Stick around, and we will see you all next week. All right.